So today we're going to be looking at the Fantasy 2 teams together. We've got heroes, we've got normal players, and I must admit the meta of them looks pretty fantastic. We've had a brand new Rashford come into play, obviously Maicon from the objective as well as Mateta, and plenty of other players to go over. One that I do think is making headlines, at least in terms of the cheap value for him, it's got to be Billing. He has had an absolute massive card from the very first team, I believe it was. He's coming in now at 41,000 coins. I think he is very usable. Now, obviously, over time, very quickly, he's going to get to the point where he needs an Evo. But I think for the moment, being the fact that he's 6'6", with incredible stats across the board, he's one of them ones that is well worth having a look at the minimum. Now, obviously, when it comes to the fantasy teams, everybody's going to be looking at the top players. You're going to be looking at Son at 5.7, Kvaratskhelia at 1.9. You've then got Marmoush at 2.7. Caicedo's actually held his value pretty well. Tchouameni coming in at 2.7, but the big talking point was in fantasy number 2, 5.8 for the brand new Villa Rashford is incredible. We got Rodrigo at 3.9. Even Nunez, to be fair, with the rapid finesse combination at 420, very, very affordable. And to be honest as well, it's a pretty good card. Like, he's got himself the 4-star, first touch, finesse. It's a very, very nice card to get straight off the bat. Obviously, from the 85 that he did have, to go straight up to this 89, but with the stats that he does possess, is pretty decent. I'd say for a striker, you're looking at a very, very usable aspect for him. Again, like Billing, the big thing with him is the fact that he's going to be available for evolutions relatively soon. 89s, they're not far away at all at the moment. So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for El Dorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website, and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with El Dorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. Obviously, we don't want to go too much into the fluff of things because there is still players that are decent but not necessarily going to go too far. Like, you look at a lot of the players here, 22k, 18k, like they have some ability in the game, and maybe, yes, if they play for your team, you might make a case for them, but realistically, they're going to be the misses. Half of the time, you're not going to get an Evo for them. They do get the upgrades as well, which is always nice, but it's never enough really at this point. When we look, for instance, at this 89, obviously when you look at the yellow card or red card, that's going to be a very difficult one for a lot of players, to be honest. I think, was it Caicedo in the very first match, like an hour after it released? Instant yellow card. Like, I mean, it's going to be very difficult to not get that. It's a very tricky one. Obviously, clean sheet, that's going to be one of them ones. You get a playstyle or playstyle plus, kind of is what it is. For Alexandro, it wouldn't do too bad, but it's not really going to change the card that much in my opinion. You then obviously got the win 2 matches. It's a +1 overall, gets him to the 90. It's fair enough. You might get 1s on everything, maybe even a 2 every now and then. Same with then the 10 club goals. That's possibly the only thing that could really change this, but realistically, that's going to be so far away, you wouldn't be able to tell that right now. So really, when you do look at a lot of the bog standard cards, they're not going to be worth having a look at, to be honest. You look at the keeper, you're not really going to change him, if I can even find him. Is it Petrovic? I want to say is how you pronounce it. He's going to be more of a miss, in my opinion. You've got a few of the kind of bottom players here. You've got the Spanish cam. Even though I do like Incisive, there's so many. There's so much choice in this game at the moment. There's just not enough to go with, in my opinion. Obviously, then if you go into the fantasy team too, it's got the exact same. You've got top players, and then you've got some players that have a bit of ability, and then some that just unfortunately don't. They will be waiting on the Evo. Like, you could potentially go just for the fact that he is in the Barcelona academy, or Barcelona team, in fact, that there could be an Evo for him if you're making a Barca team. That's fair enough. But realistically, that's the only reason why you do it. There's no other reason why you would. I do think the quick step into the first touch is quite nice as well. But when we look at the likes of Levels, when we look at Gesund, to be fair, as a striker, he's got the power shot, could do with a second playstyle plus, whether that makes the card. You could potentially look at an Evo for him, but I'd probably still miss out on him, to be fair. When it comes to the strikers, let alone the SBCs we've got, it is a bit of a shame. Now, we have got one player who did get a card, and unfortunately, he had a horrendous challenge yesterday. And if I can get the name right, because loads of people start with that, Mateta. Now, this is a very unfortunate one for him, because more than likely, he was on track to do it. Like, let's be real. Like, he was going to get a goal or assist at some point. He was on absolute fire. You've obviously got the win 2 matches. I think Crystal Palace could still do it. You got the yellow or red cards. I'm assuming he will get that upgrade as long as he's not playing. So I don't know if he has to be on the pitch, if you get what I mean. Sometimes that is in play. If not, it's kind of like a silver lining to the card itself. Obviously, the 10 club goals, whether they bounce back, that's going to be the club. But he could have had the full upgrade here. He could have got the extra playstyle plus, which is now looking in jeopardy. Like, I don't think he's playing for the next 5 matches. That challenge, unless it was just an absolute miracle that it just looked bad, I've not seen any statements recently for it. So it's unfortunate that maybe now this is going to be worth the Evo more than anything, but he could have had the chance to get the full whack. With the form that he was in, the goals that he was scoring, he really could have had the full whack. He could have got an extra play style plus, which could have been a first touch, a quick step, a rapid, hopefully. You then got the overall upgrade of 1 for winning 2. That would have put him to the 89. I would have said he might have been able to get away with a yellow card or red. He's not necessarily the biggest red or yellow fan, I don't think. Could be wrong, but that'd have been another upgrade to the 90, and then 1 face stat to 99, which more than likely would have been physicality, if anything. But regardless, the card would have probably gone into at least the usable, depending on that playstyle plus added. We then have Buendia and also Nikolai is the 2 SBCs, the player picks. Again, with these two, I mean, you could raise a case for both of them. Like, they're usable to some extent, but realistically, they're going to be a big miss very, very soon. We got Baku. I quite like him. I think he could do a little bit of damage. Benacer's kind of in that pool with Maicon at the moment. The fact that you've got the objective to do the league. And honestly, I played the first kind of 12 games. Did really well. 9 out of 12. I was very happy with that to start with. It felt reasonable. I came and tried to do the second round, and oh my god, the sweat is unbelievable. I don't know if I played the wrong time of day or it just wasn't my turn. It was horrendous. But if you do manage to do it, if I can find it, where we're in live. If you go to the Fantasy League, you'll see that you can get a Benacer, an Odegaard, and a Maicon if you win from 10 matches, 20 matches, and 30 matches in the 36 matches provided in the Fantasy League. Now, I'm a big fan of Benacer. I think he's a very good card. He definitely could do with the upgrade at some point. I think at the moment he's going into an Evo, into a usable, because it would be an Evo if he doesn't manage to finish the challenges. If Marseille can't quite do it, which again, I think they're doing pretty well, I want to say. I don't even know if they've even tracked yet. Some of them might not have updated unless they've not started. 2nd of March. Okay, he's not even had his first match yet. So whether they do it, it will be the interesting one. When it comes to Maicon, unbelievable card. Obviously, I think that was no shock to anybody. The 30 matches is very difficult. That is going to be not necessarily an impossible task because pro players will easily be able to do it. But the average player, I don't think is going to happen with this. Now, when it comes to the upgrades, you've obviously got your domestic and main cup and domestic cup and your domestic league. Of course, figuring out what it was. They're going to be later on. No point talking about them too much. But then we do have the 2 upgrades. You have 1 face stat to 99, and you have an overall and also a roll plus. So obviously with Maicon, he's got the rapid and also the whipped pass. 1 goal so far for Inter. I believe he's going for Inter. Yeah, it is Inter. I was thinking as I saw Napoli. Yeah, he's obviously going for Inter for this one. Win 2 matches. They should be able to do that, to be honest. They've got their 1-1 draw against Napoli now, and then they've got 3 more matches to get it done. I can see that happening. So at the minimum, you're looking at a 93 for him. Obviously, with Maicon, I think it's quite an easy debate for him, if I can even find him. He's in that top category. Now, The biggest problem I have with a Maicon like this is if you've got a team of the year, if you've got a well upgraded Thuram, if you've even got Maicon himself, Carfu, Carlos Alberto upgraded, I think Maicon is a slightly better card in some aspects, but it's not necessarily the biggest upgrade in my opinion. So to really sweat out them 30 games, is it worth it? That's the biggest question that I've got to ask myself, and I just don't think it is. Kind of going through a little bit quicker now, we've got Caicedo coming in there very usable. In fact, if we go over the SBCs, because that'd be the easiest thing, and then we can kind of go into pricing of everything else. Kolo Muani, absolutely love this card. He has always had such a lovely card when it gets to the end of the game. We obviously had his Thunderstruck. It's started to go in some Evos now, started to get some Storm on him. But we have now got the 91. Now, the biggest question people will ask is it worth going for this 91 at 700k rather than going for something? Because I think you could have gone for, I want to say the Finesse Shot was here. You can go for the Finesse Express, and that's going to cost you like 180k for the card itself, 30k for this, and technically better playstyle pluses. Obviously the quick step's still there, but you're going to get a finesse rather than the first touch. And in terms of stats, is it that much different? Now, that's going to be your decider. I personally would go for the Finesse Express, but you'd have only been able to put it on one player, so that is completely down to you. Very, very usable card in my opinion. We then have the other SBCs. We have got the... Have we got any... No, icons are not in here. We have got... The player pick is Mateta and Williams. That's why I couldn't find it. I was thinking, where was Mateta in this team? He obviously is an SBC. We have got Buendia. We've obviously got João Felix and Guti. I personally rate both of them massively. Guti, I would definitely put in that top meta. I think as a midfielder, a passing, dribbling-esque card, unbelievable. Felix, as a left wing, I think he's incredible. I don't know if I'd go as far to say top meta. There is a lot of top-end left wings. I think he's just underneath. Which then gives me Williams as another SBC card, and he is going to be here with a quick step. I would say he's got a good base to start with. Obviously a right back. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of a quick step on a right back, like pace-wise on fullbacks. I'm a big defensive fullback. I'm not an attacking wing back, so it isn't going to work for me. But I could see if you add an Evo, if you got a slide tackle, an anticipate, a block, a jockey, it would work pretty well for him. At least he's got the both balance there. You've got a few that there are kind of okay usable. Obviously the chip shop into the quick steps, nice. We have got Carney. Unbelievable card. If you've tried to use him, give him a go. He is fantastic in that cam roll. We obviously have got Joe Cole as well. Another card that I think when it comes to the hero side of stuff, we've got a few that are okay. Like obviously Hazard's going to be taking a lot of the steam here. Matuidi's going to be one of the big ones. And Joe Cole, your kind of Howards, your Litmanens are going to come in the bottom sort of area. I think Joe Cole in himself should be better. It really should be. He's a good card, but he's never been in that top category, in my opinion anyway. Carnu, unfortunately for me, he is always a miss. He's just never the right body for me. It just doesn't work. Some cards work really well, some just don't. Tim Howard, he's got himself the first double. He's got himself the throw and the footwork. I could put in very usable. I think he's one of them keepers that if you pack him, I mean, he's worth the effort, but I wouldn't necessarily go out and buy him, in my opinion. We then move up to the like of Keane. Absolutely love this card. He's coming in at 1.1 mil. Unbelievable striker. He's obviously got himself the finesse quick step. Beautiful card. Honestly, whenever you look at the Keane, it kind of always balances between Keane and Cahill. They always take the reign of each other. One will go better, then the other one will go better, and it just keeps revolving round. Keane in this one is being an absolute gem. A beautiful card. I would put him right up there. If it weren't for the fact that you've got the likes of Mbappe and R9, he is pretty much as top as you can get at this point. We then do have a few of the kind of top ends, like you're looking at your Hazards, obviously coming in at, 4.2 mil. You've then also got Matuidi at 3.6. I think that one was going to be obvious. 3 mil for Z Roberto. Even Gomez getting in with the, Power Shot Aerial. Again, another card that with a bit of pace like he's got, it could put himself in around that box, which is always nice. Even Carragher coming in at 500 as well, to be fair. It's a very interesting one with heroes because we haven't had a great deal of them recently. It's been a lot of icon heavy, so it's nice to finally see some of them going up there, and obviously they're going to go pretty hard on them. I'd say maybe you could even go for Keelan Gomez in that top meta, but we don't want to go too crazy with it. I do think when we look at Georges and also Carragher, they're going to put themselves in a very usable for the moment. We then also look at Farah Williams and also Enzo. This is where you kind of then stick between where you want to go. Like Villali would be kind of that lower end in my opinion. He's kind of always been a nice striker, but never anything too crazy until he gets to the very, very final card. Littmanen, I think you could get a slight bit of use as well, maybe. But to be fair, I think that is just coming out of rating, if anything. And then we've obviously got Enzo and also Williams going in there. Which leaves a lot of the players. You've got a few that are icon on the bottom end. You've got the likes of Maicon, who is unbelievable down that right mid. If you've used him at all, it is a shame that they've gone from the quick step to the rapid. Just is what it is. You've got Nunez, you've got Pavard with a great link to everybody. You then also got the likes of Rashford, you've got Son, Tchouaméni. I think these are quite easy cards, to be honest. I think Kvaratskhelia, very much like Felix, is in that topper echelon, but not quite at the absolute meta. But then you kind of look at the Rashford, it's very easy. I think Rodrigo's there, Son is obviously there, Tchouaméni's definitely there. And to be honest, if you've used Marmoush, not bad. Like, genuinely, I thought it might just be that almost Man City signing. It's kind of how United had it. We were absolutely dog awful for many, many years, but yet we still kept getting some big cards. Like, there'd be a 94 out of nowhere. I thought this could be the same. It's a shame that he hasn't got the playstyle pluses to match, but actually in game is phenomenal. And I would genuinely give him a go. I did like his 87, but realistically, that wasn't what everybody wanted. It was a tenth of what 1/10 of what this card truly is. Absolutely crazy upgrade for him, which is always nice. We then also have the likes of Alfonso still in here, which is going to come in at a little bit more of a price. I'm pretty sure he was week 2, I want to say. So he is going to be coming in at 969. Again, with left backs, it's very hard to break that top meta because you got Sakina, you got Teo, an upgraded Furland already, and then Roberto Carlos upgraded. It's very difficult to get in there when it's personally my agenda to have a fullback rather than an attacking wingback. As an attacking wingback, Davis does really well. I think he's up there, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's in that top 2 in any stretch at this point. Which then kind of gets us to pretty much the bottom end now. You've got the likes of Walsh and Dunn who come in quite nice. Walsh coming in at 240, and then Dunn was about 70, with some nice stats, to be honest. She's got herself the rapid relentless, not necessarily the greatest playstyle pluses, but we still move with it. And then Walsh is coming in with a pinged pass and also a bit of jockey, which is always nice. I would possibly go Walsh into the usable side of stuff. Dunn, I think she claws away there, but I think at this point, when we look at centre mids, it's not going to be. We then have got a few Evo cards that you could kind of go with. We've got Victor coming in, and then really from here you go in Evo, and I'd probably just miss out on these two, to be honest. When we look at what cards we've got, it's going to be very difficult to make that decision. But that's going to be everybody for right now. Let me know down below what you think, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.